Okay, hello. We are back with another episode of Coming Home Conversations. And today I am absolutely delighted to be sharing not only a very good friend of mine, but a very skilled mentor for women. This is Kaz Olive with Olive Therapies, and she is a spiritual mentor and trauma release guide. And she's doing the good work in the world these days. So I thought it would be great to have her come in and share a little bit of her story and her journey, and how she's come to where she is now. So with that, I'm going to just let you start wherever you want to start, because I'm sure you've told this story at least once before. So if you could go ahead and just share with everyone kind of how you got here and anything you want to say. You're just going to talk. We're just chill here, relaxed.
Well, thanks for having me, first of
Of
all.
course.
It's such an honor to come on your group and share my story in the hopes that it inspires other women going through maybe something similar to what I've been through and looking for their pathway out as well.
Yeah.
So thanks. So where do I start with my story? I mean, how far back do we go? I guess the big turning points came for me when my very first marriage. So I've been
Mm,
married twice. Raised in a really good home, like great parents, very religious, which is a whole other story in itself. But
right.
yeah, married at 19, had my first child at 19. I had three children to that in that marriage, and it was very volatile, abusive, um, very challenging to stay in. And I was sort of trapped in it because growing up in a religious home, you did
Mm,
like, and
you
back
don't
in
leave.
those days, you
Yeah.
don't leave. Yeah, you stay. And so that was really hard. And there was lots of things to deal with and raise three sons in
Wow.
that.
Was it
So 10
volatile from the
years.
very beginning, or did it become that way?
Um, No, it wasn't. He was actually very shy and very quiet. So he didn't kind of, to me, like in my only 19 years of life experience,
Hmm.
I thought that, he was just shy and a quiet guy, but really, yeah, he was suffering himself, just
Mm,
extremely, like he came from a very abusive family
oh,
and had no way of healing through that. So, yeah, he didn't know his way or how to be in a relationship either. And a lot of the problems we had was um, just very controlling, very manipulative, a lot of threats of, can I use that S word?
you can say whatever you want. This is my
Okay.
group. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, a lot of threats of suicide
Oh,
and attempted. So you can just imagine the piles
oh,
of trauma. And I had
wow.
no one to talk to, nowhere to go. Family weren't really able to support me because they didn't really know either. And because, yeah, I was to pray for him. That's what I was to do.
Right. And I'll
That
bet you
was
too, there's like there's shame around
mm,
it, right? Not knowing how to help or not knowing how to shift it or change it or, again, at
yeah,
19, my goodness. So by the time you
yeah.
had three children, how old were you then?
I was 31 when I had my third child. Yeah. So that's when I left. So I kind of finally got the help. I think everyone around me could sort of see this was not going well. So
Mm,
they got him help as well, which was good. And they helped me leave. So I was able to move to my parents and I
mm,
was there for 3 months. And then I kind of like decided, like my baby was 3 months old, and I was like, I opened the book, the map book, like back then, I don't even think we had Google Maps back then, but I
Where were
opened
you
up the
living
map
then?
book.
Where
I
were
was
you
living
living
in
then?
New Zealand.
New
In New
Zealand.
Zealand, I
Okay.
was living in the city in New Zealand at mum and dad's, and then I opened up my map book, and I just went like that and went like that. It's like, oh, that's the wrong move. And so that's
Wow.
what I did. So yeah, I moved to a coastal coastal country town with my three kids on my own, didn't know a soul there, and started a new life.
Wow.
And yeah, so probably 2 years after that, I met a guy, and I thought, oh, this guy is totally different. Like he was so way more it was a different culture as well. He was more my culture, whereas my ex was from like the Pacific Islands. So it was like, oh, this is going to be better because he's my culture. So we've sort of eliminated the any barriers there with communication and understanding like each other's worldviews. So
Hmm.
I thought that okay, that's good. And then he was also very more, what do you call it? Um,
Outgoing.
Outgoing. Yeah, thank you. And so because of that, I thought, oh, this is so different. It was very humorous and fun to be around. And so I thought, oh, this is great. But, and so I was with him for 10 years, on and off, on and off, on and off. It was very up and down, up and down. And he was extremely possessive and jealous and, yeah, very critical. You put me down. All the things that he liked about me to start with, he started putting me down for all those things. So I could never be myself. And I could never really, yeah, it was just always arguments, always, yeah, jealous, possessive, controlling, yeah, those sort of things. So it wasn't physical violence, but it was very, um, yeah, emotional, mental, yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, I was in it up and down with this guy 10 years. And then we moved to Australia
Oh, you
and
moved with him to Australia?
yeah, I moved
Oh,
with
I
him to
didn't know that.
Australia. So he
Okay.
had family here. He had a brother or two brothers, I think. I can't remember, one or two brothers here. So we stayed with them for a few weeks and that. We kind of set up house and things were okay. And then it started going downhill again. And
Mm.
was worse around his family.
Oh.
So I packed up everything, packed the kids up. I had two kids with me. My eldest, he stayed back in New Zealand with my dad, and he was was doing university things then, or polytech stuff then, for his trade. So then, yeah, packed up, moved over east. I moved to just south of Sydney,
Hmm.
and yeah, just with some boxes, flew over there, started a new life over there because I knew someone there and I got a job there. I just thought all that distance and something different. I was always one that wanted to explore other places anyway. I always liked to be on the move. So I did that and was there for a year. And then, of course, he wanted to get back together. So he said all the things. So then we entered that same cycle of, the cycle of abuse where you go
Yeah.
through the honeymoon period and then it kind of like builds up, the tension builds up. And then there was an explosion and a fight and then the makeup. So we just kept on going round and round this
Hmm.
cycle of abuse. And yeah, so we moved back here and then we finally broke up for good. And something about that breakup for good, because it was always me breaking up, and this time it was him that called it off. And it was like 3 weeks before we were going to get married and everything.
Oh.
We were still going to stay together. It was crazy. And I guess I just didn't know what a normal relationship was. I just thought that that was my normal. And I
Hmm.
knew something about it, like looking around, I didn't think other people were going through what I was going through, that I just thought that that's what it is, I think.
Well, I
Yeah,
think what happens is, because I have my own story of, my own marriage falling apart, and I just remember feeling really lonely within
mm,
that because again, like I said earlier, it's like I'm embarrassed that,
yeah,
my marriage isn't working, or there's a lot of shame around it. And so people just don't talk about
mm,
the bad stuff that's going on. I mean, at least at that level. I mean, I think we do bond over complaining over things,
yeah,
but we don't really talk about what's really going on for us.
mm, yeah,
So, mm,
yeah. Well, I think it becomes too much to look at. I mean, we're just in survival mode, really, at that point. So, yeah, it's overwhelming. So anyway, yeah, so because he broke it off, I then started going through a bit of a breakdown. I can only describe it as a breakdown. I was just crying. It was a lot of grief and probably the
Mm,
build-up of that 10 years and all of everything that, and then for him to end it and not me end it, I don't know, something about that really impacted me.
yeah.
And because of all of his criticisms and put downs and all that, I guess that was sort of like the final put down is that
Mm,
rejection and that abandonment.
yeah.
And yeah, I really had a hard time, yeah, just crying all the time. I was drinking a lot. I was out. I was partying. I was going on a lot of dates to try and cover this pain that I was
Yeah.
experiencing that I couldn't really understand. And I guess I felt like I didn't consciously think this, but looking back, I think what I was doing was trying to then seek outside of myself to fix that pain that I was going through, that deep rejection.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was yeah, being like a total party girl, basically. And yeah, having a good old time doing that. But of course, doesn't
I
really
went
work out.
through
And that,
I went through a phase like that too. After I left my husband, it was just like I know for me, I was just filling that hole,
yeah,
that empty feeling I felt inside of me with, drugs,
yeah,
alcohol, sex with strangers. I mean, it was a
yeah,
crazy time.
same. Yeah.
Crazy time.
And I used to say, oh, the best way to get over one man is to get under another. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a saying, isn't it?
yeah, so that was that. And then, of course, in that process, I met this other guy who kind of like came in, swept me off my feet. He kind of like came in as the hero. He could probably see that I was very vulnerable,
Mm,
very, yeah, broken, I guess. So, yeah, he came in, swept me off my feet, kind of promised the world, pretty much delivered nothing. And then and he wanted to marry straight away. So that
mm,
was like a sign that I didn't realize was a sign at the time. And as soon as I wanted to start bettering myself and to heal and to like grow, and
yeah.
like, I was, yeah, I had a bit of time, I felt a bit more settled. So I was trying to fix me really. And as soon as I started doing that, that's where that resistance was coming up because he liked the fact that he was like more, up here and I was down here sort of thing. He
Yeah,
liked the
you're
fact that,
his broken little woman that he's
yeah,
to
yeah, that he
protect
could
or whatever.
mold and do, yeah, sort of, yeah, didn't have to try too hard or something. I don't know. But it wasn't long before the cracks started showing, and we did get married. We got married, and within about 9, 10 months of even meeting each other. How
Wow.
crazy is that? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously, I wasn't in a good place mentally. And within maybe a year, yeah, the cracks were there because I was like, yeah, I'm going back to study. I want to complete my psychology and do counseling and get back on track of what my passions are and discover more me and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, he didn't like that. No, you have to wait. You can't do it now. It's like, what? So, of course, I did and got myself a really good job. I was working like 3 jobs, I think, at the time, just to sort of make sure that I could do this thing.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I just got the sense that he was not really invested in our marriage anymore. And, um, yeah, walked out the door one day with his best shoes on, and I knew straight away, oh, he's out on a date. The only
Wow.
reason he's going to put his best shoes on is to, yeah, and I think he put cologne on, and I knew he was. And so I found out that he was. I looked up his Facebook or something. I don't know what I did, but yeah, found out that
Right.
he was on a date. And so then I started making my plan to get out of the relationship. So I think it took me probably almost another year to get
Mm,
everything aligned and get things together and emotionally as well to be prepared for it.
Sure.
So yeah, I started, I guess, taking care of myself and putting some money away and all that sort of thing. And yeah, so then I left that. We had a big row, and that was the day that I left. A big row over money. He was very like cold, distant. He was not intimate at all. So then, oh my gosh, that is the worst kind of rejection, I think, because
Yeah.
usually, and it's so hard to talk about because usually we're complaining that, oh my God, I wish he'd just keep his hands off me. It's so
Right. Yeah.
annoying. He's
Yeah.
always, yeah, handsy, But this was like the opposite. I just felt like he was just not interested in me, no
Wow.
affection, no intimacy. I was always the one initiating. And yeah, I was just broken over that. It really impacted on my self-worth. Like it was already a bit shaky from the previous two marriages. And
Right.
then to have this, I'd never experienced anything like that before. So yeah, that was really upsetting. And then of course he would call me yeah, a gold digger and all this. And just after he didn't have any money. He had a lot of debt, no money. So I don't know where he got that from, but um yeah, so that made me, yeah, and he didn't, oh, so we went to go and buy a house. This was another thing that kind of we went to go and buy a house together, or we are talking about buying a house together. And he turned around and said to me on our anniversary, I'll never buy a house with you. It's like, oh, that just
What?
stabbed me. And I was like, I'm your wife. Like, what? We had someone come round and he was a compulsive liar. Was telling this guy, like a broker, a mortgage broker, came around to talk about like what options we've got and what we could
Right.
do. And yeah, so yeah, he was like saying he's got 10 grand in the bank and this grand and that money in that bank. And I'm like, where is all this money he's talking about? There wasn't any. But it was just, yeah, would go and look at a car and he would lie to the car dealership. Like it was crazy. Like, why would you tell him that we live in a completely different town or city than we live? Like, what was the point? We were just looking through a car. It was just weird. So yeah, lots of lies. So yeah, started finding out all those lies and the reason we
Lots of
couldn't buy a house
signs too,
together.
too. Lots
Yeah,
of
lots of
signs.
signs, lots of red flags everywhere. Yeah. And really, at the end of the day, the reason we couldn't buy a house is because he didn't want to tell me, but he had like an $80,000 child support debt that he wouldn't
Oh,
be able to service the loan with that. But he didn't want to say that, so he blamed me. Like I would
oh,
never buy a
wow.
house with you. So I made the decision. I left, up and left one day. I took some boxes of stuff, my son's things. We stayed at my friend's place until we could find a rental.
Right.
And yeah, so I think we were there for about 4 or 5 weeks, found something that we liked, moved in there, bought all new furniture. And within, the crazy thing is, as soon as I made that decision, like, I am not doing this anymore. I am not being with men who just keep pulling me down. I'm going to start listening to my wisdom and I'm going to like tune into that more. Wow, it was like night and day. Within 6 months, I had two promotions in my job.
Wow.
I had, and that came with big pay rises. I also received a bit of like not a huge amount of money, but enough to help put together the savings that I had had to get a deposit for a house.
Ah,
So 6 months, I left. I yeah, two pay rises, promotions, bought it myself a house in my name, my
wow.
own house. It was like, wow, this is just like everything I dreamed of. I dream of this, and I tell my son like, one day, son, we won't have to move. We'll have our own house. And he would go, yeah, whatever. He didn't ever believed it. We'll have our own place. Because, when you're renting, and it's like this in Australia, I don't know if it's like that over there. You're like, sign up a 6 month lease. Like that's usually what they want you to do, just 6 months to start
Hmm.
with. And then quite often they'd like either want to sell the house you're in or their family wants to move into that house. So you'd be moving all the time. So
Hmm.
yeah, I was like, oh, we're going to do this. We'll have our own house, and he never believed it, but we did. We got our own house, and so and then um, I met Dan, and that was just a freak meeting because
How long after that did you meet Dan?
maybe 6 months, so pretty pretty quick. Yeah. And yeah, we got talking, and his best friend was best his best friend's mum was my mum's best friend. Like all these things started like, yeah, like what? How? Like we kind of like we're family pretty much. Yeah, okay, weird, but yeah, we're family friends. And then the other thing was like we went to the same like screwed up Christian school, and I'm not saying like all Christian schools are screwed up, but this particular one was like a cult. It was really
Mm,
weird. So we had all these stories to tell, like, oh my God, did you see that? And did that happen when you were there? So we were in the school with only like there's probably only 150 kids at the school, but I don't
wow.
remember him because he's like a couple of years younger than me, and he didn't
Mm,
really remember me. So it was really, yeah, just all these little synchronicities and just coincidences. And, it just felt so easy. I wasn't necessarily looking for anyone because I was like, this is all about me. I'm
yeah.
like, this is my house. I've got this great job. I'm, living this life, and nothing is going to rock my boat anymore. And he just sort of slotted right in, and he had his own things that he was dealing with at the time as well, with the breakup of his marriage and stuff like that. And we just sort of like clicked like best mates. It was easy. And he would never have said a bad word about me, or, it was just so
Wow.
different from what I was used to.
Yeah.
What's
I
important?
want to just ask something real quick, just because I want to just,
Yeah.
'cause, like you said that you made a decision that you were no longer going to, be controlled. You were no longer
Hmm.
going to, I mean, that was the
Compromise
turning
my
point.
values. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I
Yeah.
think that's the real turning point here that I picked up on in this whole storyline. It's like you finally came around, finally came around to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I think I see this so often, I'm sure you do too, with women. It's like we're a lot of us are people pleasers. A lot of
Hmm.
us are, we want to make sure everybody's good around us at our own expense, right? And we're even taught, frankly, to be people pleasers from a very young age, right?
Mm.
Our parents have us do things we don't want to do or we're in trouble,
Yeah.
right? So it's like
Yeah.
even men have this happen as well. But I mean, I see it really prevalent with women because we are natural nurturers. We take care of
Yeah.
other people, right? And I just love, and I just want to shine a light on that part where you really recognize like enough is enough. It's like, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't like the way I'm feeling. I don't like the way my life is going. And you just made a decision, and how like the universe just started lining things up for you because you were
Mm.
finally in alignment with
Exactly.
who you
Yeah.
truly are, right? And
Yeah.
in my own speak, you came home to yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And you continue
Yes.
to come home to yourself. So keep going. And now you and Dan, that's just another synchronicity of the universe bringing someone
Yeah.
to
Bringing us
you.
together. Yeah. And
And
just
how
being
is
able
that relation?
to,
Just talk about how that relationship is different.
it's like I've never had a relationship like this before because I've never been in a healthy relationship. I didn't know what, I remember doing a meditation, and it was like a guided meditation, and the words were something like, now think of a time when you felt so loved. I just bawled my eyes out because I thought, I can't ever think of a time that I felt so loved. I thought, wow, I've been in three relationships and married twice. Um, Even my parents, I know they love me, but didn't feel this. I feel so loved. I never felt that
Right.
feeling. I was like, what is that? What does that feel like? I didn't, what the heck is love then? What even is love? So, yeah, I'd never had that. So, in the very early, probably the first 6 months of me and Dan deciding that, yeah, we're going to be in a relationship together,
Hmm.
it was a little bit like we had to kind of like suss that out because I was learning what healthy relationship looked like. Like I was waiting for the ball to drop. I was waiting for like it all to fall to pieces. I was waiting for him to become a dickhead.
Somebody
And
else, right?
yeah, I was like, this is too good to be true. But he never did. He just always stayed supportive and caring and nurturing and loving, and yeah. So
I love it.
yeah. And also the
I bet it took you.
communication.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was just saying it makes me think of you probably had to train yourself to even receive that,
Yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you're
Because
waiting
that's
for the other shoe to drop.
vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're going to receive it, it's like that makes me like feel weak or makes me feel like, a bit scared. Like if I've received it, and that's harder to keep my wall up, you got to keep the walls up. So,
Mm.
yeah, so once I could trust and felt safe in that relationship, then there were no walls. And he was really
Mm.
patient about it as well. But he also came from a relationship where he wasn't allowed to communicate his thoughts,
Ah.
his feelings, or anything. So he was just always yes, yes, yes. I was like, well, I came from a thing where it was just all about the guy and all his thoughts and feelings and everything. And then Dan not having it, I was like, you can say something, like you can like express what you want to feel and what you want to say. So we had this communication, which was so good that we could like discuss, well, I came from this and you came from this, like the others, you know. Basically, he had a wife that was probably a lot like one of my husbands. So it was like we both had to, yeah, figure this out together and just
Mm.
be totally understanding and supportive and loving of each other's journey in that. So it was just such a beautiful thing. Yeah, a couple of little hiccups along the way of us figuring out that and trusting
Sure.
each other and building that safety. So yeah, it was really cool. But probably about a year after we got together, then I was diagnosed with cancer.
That's right.
So yeah, there came another big blow. So and that was like, you know what? It kind of made our relationship so much stronger because I got to see what Dan's like in the worst case scenario.
Mm.
When he's squeezed, when life's not easy, like it'd been pretty crazy. We've done some holidays together. He moved into my house. He was bankrupt. So, I mean, it was like, again, all the things I probably shouldn't have gone uh, um, for him, but I just trusted.
Yeah.
I trusted myself. I knew that had a big heart full of love and he was all the things. So, yeah, I kind of overlooked some of those other areas. And the interesting thing was how he treated me during cancer. It was
Mm.
nothing but kindness. It's just so nurturing. Yeah, I'd never received so much love
Oh,
and care. Yeah, I was so lucky, just so lucky.
yeah.
He helped me with my appointments. He was on the ball with organizing stuff. He ran the house. Would pick up my son. My son was a teenager at the time, so he'd be picking him up in the night from his parties, and taking care of like some of the parental
Yeah.
responsibilities, and just yeah, just beautiful. So I was just really, really, really lucky. And then the cancer treatment ended. I went into full remission.
Yay.
So
And I'm sure
yeah,
that because you had that support system with Dan, you've been working on yourself, allowing yourself to receive the love. I mean, I think that is healing.
yeah, what it did was it gave me the space to be able to look inward. So I did
Mm.
most of my healing. I learned about energetic healing during that cancer journey.
Yeah.
So the whole time every day, I would receive white light coming from above my crown chakra all the way through my body and just see this healing, loving light coming through my body. And then I started to notice things because I was doing this every day. After a while, I started to feel where might be blockages, where there
Mm.
might be some of from my past, past trauma stuff like sitting in the body because the body holds the trauma. It's
Mm.
not like, we go through something traumatic like, even small things in our lives can create a trauma in our system. And it
Yeah.
can be just like somebody might just even say one small thing that will just stick with you. That's a
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah, and
And
I
so,
gotta say, yeah, you're absolutely right because I shared with you before we hit record that I had a friend of mine several years ago who was working with people with trauma, and I'm like, I didn't have any trauma, and she's like, yeah, you did, and I'm like, What do you mean? She's like, it could be little t trauma or big T trauma, right? Like trauma for me was I did a piano recital when I was in school, and I forgot how to play it, and I sat there dying because I couldn't remember, and I didn't have the music
Oh,
with me. And that, I mean, that's something that I remember that so clearly. That was so traumatic for me that I
yeah,
didn't. I mean, and so,
right.
and I never played the piano ever again for anyone after that. Never.
Yeah.
So,
Because it
trauma is
impacts
trauma.
you, yeah, in all different ways that you don't sometimes realize until years later. You think, oh,
Yes.
then you can join the dots. Oh, that's why I don't want to speak in public, or that's why I'm an introvert. I'm not really an introvert, it's just that don't feel safe around, you know, kind of
Yeah.
putting myself out there. Um, so, yeah, so I did lots of that healing through that,
Mm.
and then I really connected with energetics, and I didn't have any of the names and the labels of what it was. I just knew that if I knew that we all have healing hands, we've got meridian points. I just knew this. I
Mhm.
mean, I wasn't raised that way. Like I said, very religious upbringing. There's
Yeah.
no one in my family that talked about energetics, but I just had this knowing inside of me that um, my body isn't just flesh. It's an intricate design of energy. Every
Yes.
cell in my body is energy. And now we know this. Like back in the day, we were taught in school that we were matter, basically,
Yeah.
mostly matter.
Yep.
But even the matter is energy. It's all energy.
Yes.
And
Just,
we
yeah.
can shift and change. And I could start when I could, like, oh, that feels like, and I'd get this image on my mind, like it's a cloudy color or like a tar sticky thing, and then I could start shifting and pulling this out. I could actually feel this energy coming out of my body. So I
Mm.
started doing like, wow, actually I feel really light. This feels quite good. I might just keep doing this. And it was all kind of in private, like I didn't want to
Sure.
sound like I'm weird. So
It's
yeah,
not
every
weird.
day, yeah, well, we don't think it's weird, but I was just like, I can't just go around shouting this. And guess what, you guys, you can all like heal your bodies, although I do now. But yeah, I was trying to make sense of it. So I thought, you know what I need? I need to get a Reiki certificate. So I
Mm.
went off and got that, thinking that that's what I've got to have something or learn more about it. But I soon realized that what I was doing, okay, it's all related to Reiki, but it's a different layer or a different step or something. Um, because, we've all got different healing abilities.
Of
We don't have to
course.
fit them into these boxes. We can go way outside boxes. There's no boxes with it when it comes to
Well,
healing.
what I love about what you just said is that, because I've never had that experience of being able to pull energy out of me, but we all have these gifts, these intuitive gifts that we can awaken in us just out of curiosity, intention,
Yeah,
practice.
yeah,
And 95% of it is just getting quiet, right? And
mm,
stop paying attention to everything out here, right? And start paying attention to what your body is telling you. And I know that
yes,
this is
yeah,
what you teach women now, is how to actually, you know, unblock that flow of
yeah.
energy that runs through us all, the
Yeah.
chi, right? The prana,
Yeah, that
the
Shakti, prana, spirit, whatever, because our energy is always wanting to rise within us. Where it's just natural. It's like a river flowing. It's always wanting to rise. But what happens is along our journey in life, we get these big rocks and boulders in our flow of our energy. And it could be, things from our parents, it could be ancestral, generational. It could just be like relationships, whatever. um, these things, if we don't know, because we weren't told how to move
yeah,
through these challenging emotions, what we were told was suck it up, buttercup, stuff it down in there, suppress
yeah,
it.
that's what I did
And
for sure
yeah,
for many years. Yeah,
same. Yeah, for years, because I didn't know. I was like, it was survival. You just had to suck it up and keep moving forward. And
yeah,
so, and I think, to be honest, it's probably that attitude is probably a hangover from many generations because of the world wars, that's the
of
Great
course.
Depression. They were
Yeah,
all just in survival mode too, so now we're in this amazing era where we're ready to thrive. We can thrive. We don't have to be trapped in survival anymore. And in that thriving, we, like your words, we're coming home to ourselves, and we can really tune inwards and see where these blocks are. And the more that we can release, then the freer we feel, that we go to bed lighter than when we woke up. It's just amazing. It gets
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. I mean, and
Because the
the
more
block,
free,
go ahead.
yeah, so the more open and free we are, then the more we get the messages from the great divine, whether we call that God or whatever our word is, universe is for that great source, original, the OG of source energy that we are as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get those intuitive messages, we get the guidance, and it's why I've ended up in this giant big red bus.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up soon, but I want to just say that you are such an inspiration to me because you are a free spirit in every sense of the word. And go ahead and just share what you've done. You've purchased a
Yeah, so I happened to have this opportunity where I was able to do something with a little bit of money, and I didn't know what, but I just followed my yellow brick road. A friend of mine always says that follow your yellow brick road, just focus on your yellow brick road. Don't worry about everything else around you. So I just focused on my yellow brick road, and being a girl who, as a teenager, always wanted an adventure, I always wanted to do that, but of course got married at 19, so that was when my
exactly.
and children, that's when my adventures ended. So I the young me came out and bought this old coaster bus. It's already been converted into a motorhome, and I just redecorated it. I started with some tile here. I've got, I've got to finish my wall, but yeah, just painted it green. Things that I wanted to do, put some beautiful velvet curtains up, and just hit the road. And
And
which
you're
has
on the road
been
right now, right?
I'm on the road right now. I've just traveled 2,300 kilometers. I don't know what is that in miles? I don't
I
know.
don't know. It's far.
It's a lot. It was a long way, and on my own. And that's the first time I've done a proper solo travel trip.
Oh,
I
wow.
only just realized, like, oh my gosh, I'm nearly 52. This is the first time I've done a solo travel trip. So
Mm,
yeah, it's been challenging and the most growth and beautiful discoveries about myself in this
mm,
journey.
mm.
Yeah, I'm
I
so
love it.
grateful that I've
Well,
got to do that.
and Kaz has she's been documenting it all with her YouTube channel
Mm,
that she's been documenting. And so I'll drop the link of that below this video, as well as a
mm,
link to everything that she's about. I mean, she's got her own Facebook group as well and her own iRise program that's transforming women's lives on the regular. So Kaz is somebody to follow and watch. And she's just, as you can tell, she's just so real and down to earth. And I love her so much. And I was able to actually meet her in person in December when I went to Australia and spent about 5 days with her and Dan, who is lovely. A sweetheart. He made me fried eggs almost every morning. He was so awesome. But
yeah,
yeah,
he's such a nurturer. Yeah,
he's a good guy and got some of the best hair. He's got really good hair.
yeah, he does. He's got great
Well,
hair.
Kaz, thank you so much for sharing your journey of how you've moved through this life of yours and now how you're on the other side and just loving it and free as a
Mm,
bird and on this. How much longer will you be on the road? And what's the name of your bus again?
Frida. Yeah, and the YouTube channel is called 50 Free and Finally Me, traveling in
Ooh,
Frida, all the
50,
F's. I love a good F word.
50 free and
50
finally
Free and
me.
Finally Me.
I
Yes.
love it. I love
Yeah, so that's been fun, even just documenting it, just for me to look back on. But yeah, people have been interested to know about the journey. I think, there's something in all of us that wants to really explore more about ourselves and do these big, scary things. And, it's always fun watching somebody else
Well,
struggle.
I think also too, as women, especially as women, right? I mean, we all, we're about the same age. I mean, you're younger than me by 7 years, but I mean, there was always a fear of being on your own as a woman because that's kind of taught to us, right? The world's a scary place, right? You've got to have a man around and protect yourself and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. But when you just decide to take a big bite out of freedom and just go for it, your energy changes, and it's almost like you become like invisible to the people who would want to cause anyone harm. You know what I mean? That's something that Paul and I talk about all the time. It's like, you
Yeah.
know, when you're vibrating high because you're high on life, you're in love with life, you feel free to be yourself, you're doing the things that you love, you're vibrating so high that the people who frankly don't love themselves and are not high on life are vibrating down here, and it's almost like they can't even see you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're
I
just
remember
like
you
not
guys
even on the
saying that. I love that. Yeah. And that's
yeah.
so
And
true.
it just your frame of mind and your way of being is a protective thing because
Yeah.
really there is nothing to fear, right? There
Mm.
really isn't anything to fear. But that's a whole other conversation. But oh my God, I could talk to you for 1,000 years and I'm gonna know you for the rest of my life. So there you go. We're gonna have many
Yeah.
more conversations.
Yeah, for
Thank you so
sure.
much. Is there anything that you'd like to say, just in your final like piece of advice to give the women who are watching this video?
Um, just to tune inwards, look within yourself, and even asking yourself, what is it that I really need and what is it that I really want? We need to like bring, healing isn't about going back to who you were, it's about becoming the woman that you were always meant to be. You are amazing. You are the pure beam of light. Trauma might shape you, but it doesn't define us. And
Mm,
our nervous system can really learn about feeling safe. Your heart can learn to trust, and your spirit can remember freedom. And there is that hope for us all. Like you know, to rise means to really choose ourselves, and that's the key. Is we've been taught never to choose ourselves, to choose everything else, but put ourselves last.
yep.
To rise and to heal and to be truly your authentic self means to choose yourself. And after so many years of abandoning your needs for everybody else, it's really time for us as women to rise, to break those cycles, to find freedom in our body, reclaim our voice, our worth, our power. And the beauty of it is that when one of us rises, we're kind of leading the way for others to rise too. When
And
we're
we
like
rise
helping
together.
other people rise up, we're all rising and we deserve that. And really, we're changing the story for many generations after us as well, just by us taking that
Mm,
1 degree shift in direction.
I
So,
love
yeah.
it. I love it. I love it. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I hope all of you enjoyed this conversation. Please leave your comments below. If you have anything you want to ask about, we can always get Kaz in touch with you. But again, I'm going to put all of her information below this so you can uh, check into Kaz's world as well. Okay. Thank you, Kaz.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thanks.